Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Andertons TV. I'm the captain.
And I'm Danish Pete, and this is an exciting day, isn't it?
Well, there are only two things that I'm looking forward to in 2022.
What's that?
A cure for COVID and the PRS SE Silver Sky. Literally,
isn't it the same thing though?
It could well be the same thing.
This comes out and it's
I wouldn't put it
over.
past John Mayer to cure COVID. So today, in this video, we're going to talk to you about the new Silver Sky, SE Silver Sky. We're going to compare it to an American one. We're going to give you our thoughts. You're going to hear some tones. We're going to tell you how difficult these are going to be to order, I think, over the next few months.
Just forget about it.
But just stay tuned. Enjoy. So, Mr. Pete, shall we, what do we need to say? John Mayer, as you probably know, 3 or 4 years ago, started working with Paul Reed-Smith to develop a guitar for him. Knew PRS had never really done a guitar like this before. You can see where the inspiration has come from, although, all those arguments of it's just a PRS Strat, I think have sort of gone by now. People are sort of appreciating this for its own uniqueness as well, but clearly that's where the inspiration has come from.
Yeah.
Humongously popular.
Super.
Lots of different colours, rosewood, maple, limited edition colours, everything. Roxy Pink, Nebula.
Good one. I mean, I love the Roxy Pink. The Nebula, what was the other one? Ice, Luna.
Lots of guitar players, other than John Mayer, adopting it as their sort of go-to guitar.
Yeah.
So look, great guitar. But, of course, being made in America, yes, bit of dough. Not crazy dough, but, upwards of $2,000. So, kind of out of a lot of people's pockets. Yeah. So, of course, PRS SE, which is the Far Eastern version of PRS, have done a Silver Sky.
Very successful. The SE line is very successful. Yeah. And how many people have been asking about this guitar? Every time,
all the people.
Every time you put a picture up of any of these, like, when is the SE coming? Well,
so 2 years in the making this is. Lots of back and forth with John to get this to be an instrument that he's happy with.
Yeah. I mean, they had the shape already, so it must have been like pickups and because there's a few little bits and pieces.
There's a few bits
different.
So,
from this one,
Pete, give us a G chord, just to break up the monotonous talking.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about specs and differences and stuff like that.
G chord on the neck pickup.
Simplicity itself.
That's impressive.
No pedals.
Yeah. Right. Into the DP40. We're not going PRS Ampere. We're going neutral.
So let's get the real top line stuff out the way first. This is going to be in the UK $899.
Really?
Right? £899.
What?
It's going to come with a SE style gig bag like this. So not quite as nice as the gig bag that the American one comes with, but a perfectly good gig bag nonetheless.
$899.
$899. It's going to come in 4 different colours, which you are seeing on screen now. And if you want to see some really close-up, beautiful photography of them, head on over to the Andertons website, links below.
Dragon fruit.
Great colours.
Good names again, like last time.
Great colours. So, at the moment, only rosewood fretboard versions.
Real rosewood as well.
Real rosewood.
We're not talking
toy rosewood.
What's it called? Sapele. What is it?
Laurel or Palfero or anything like that.
Can't find my words. It's back after New Year's.
So,
sorry.
Okay, here are the differences. All right, alder body, poplar body.
Very.
7 1/4 inch radius, 8 1/2 inch radius. Controversial. We'll talk about that later.
Yes.
Gloss neck, satin finish neck.
Although the maple one has a satin finish neck too.
Oh, confuse some more.
Yeah. It's less satin.
It's less satin.
That's what we talked about before, but you can hear. We'll do the stroking test in a minute.
Bone nut, synthetic bone nut, and quite a thicker, bigger nut as well.
Yeah.
So this nut is the same sort of shape you'd probably get on an SE Custom.
Yeah.
This is more like vintage Strat style nut.
Yeah. Logo is different. Of course, truss rod cover is different.
Truss rod cover is different. Now, this is where I'm fair play to PRS for tooling up to do this. They've got the neck carve nailed. All right, so we have. I'm not going to. Oh, do you know? I will read you out the specs.
Yeah, read
this
the
is
specs.
this
If
is
you can
all
read
in
that, I don't know what it
imperial,
means.
American imperial. So I'm not my natural form of currency.
Is that called imperial? I thought
In metric or imperial. So if you're talking inches, you're imperial. If you're talking millimeters,
I thought it was
you're
imperial over here because you used to have the empire, but I don't know.
Well, we invented imperial, and then we sort of Europeanized, whereas America stayed with it.
I see. Okay.
Anyway, so
fine,
look,
fine.
depth at the nut is the same on both guitars. So it's 53/64ths of an inch, right? Whatever that means.
Yeah.
Okay, so width at the nut on the American, is 1 inch and 21/32ths. On the SE, it's 1 inch, but only 20/32ths.
Yeah.
And Pete and I reckon that could literally be
the lacquer
difference.
Maybe it's, yeah.
It's
that is
minuscule.
That is minute.
And then
isn't it?
width at the 12th is the same again. So you've got 2 inches and 7/32ths on them.
How
both.
lucky are you?
Yeah, and it's, I mean, it's tough to say. Different trem systems.
Yes.
So the American one has, it's a PRS design trem system, but with 6 screws holding like a knife edge style trem.
Yeah.
The SE has got the same saddles, so it's, similar kind of tone, I guess, but on a dual fulcrum, so 2 screws holding the trem on rather than...
Yeah. And that's shiny, this bit here. It's funny, I've seen that's shiny and that's matte.
Oh.
That bit. I don't know. I mean, it's a little different. Turn it over, flip it over, look at that.
No cavity cover.
No.
Cavity cover.
Still, you've got the
Same,
little
yeah, I mean,
signature on
fair
it.
play. We've got exactly the same heel joint.
Yeah.
We've got the same spoon cut on the lower lower bout here.
Yeah.
We've got different tuners, same tuning buttons,
Yeah.
but locking on the American traditional sort of, almost like a clues-on style
Yeah.
on the SE.
Yeah.
And I believe, and pickups, of course. So, but they've done a dedicated SE version. So these are the 635 JMs. These are the 635 S for as in SE. I think
knobs are the same.
Basically,
Spots.
yeah,
It's
knobs
cool,
the
isn't it?
same.
Yeah.
Pickup selector is the same.
Yeah.
Inlays are the same.
The jack input is the same, which I really like because that's a special design
Belly
for this
cut
guitar.
the same.
Belly cut is the same.
Yeah. So
Tint is different.
a lot more, I would say more similarities than differences. So Pete, before we start, we're going to do a comparison.
Mm-hmm.
Before we start talking about, I guess the radius is maybe the most controversial, but it was controversial the first time, wasn't it? So maybe it's less controversial, I don't know. But we'll talk about that. But Pete, could you take us through with and without gain, with and without chorus maybe?
With and without chorus,
some of your SE tones,
Just super
please.
easy into the DP40, keeping it neutral. We're not doing any, I mean, we could have used the PRS amp, but... I mean, super easy to play. Super easy to play. I'm not sure I'm feeling that 8.5 inch.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, okay.
We'll talk about that. Come on.
So here's
if you're in
position
position
4,
4, then you know.
And of course I have to mess it up, otherwise we get a copy strike. Middle position. Maybe it does feel slightly flatter.
Very low output. If you're not familiar with what 635 means, the pickup model number, it was John wanted a pickup that sounded somewhere in between the pickups that you typically get on a 63 and a 64 Strat. So he went, 63.5.
Yeah. It's same with the neck, because it's from one of his guitars, which is 63, 64, and that's the neck.
So they're not overly pokey, are they? They're quite.
No, it's just a nice Strat tone, isn't it? I mean,
I don't think they're not as scoopy. They're not as scooped, maybe, as when he had a Fender signature. They were a little bit more.
What were they called? Big dippers.
Big dippers.
Big dippers.
Double
dipping.
But it's a lovely sounding.
It's just a nice sounding. That's quite quacky, that sound there. know what I mean? And it's the bridge. It's just familiar, isn't it? I mean, it's just a familiar sound. Is it me or does it feel a bit more quacky? I don't know. Should we go straight over?
No.
Clean,
We need to hear it with chorus
you
and with and tube screamer as well.
That's the chorus.
Single-handedly bringing the chorus back to the world.
Yeah, to the guitar world.
Yes.
Here's a tube screamer. It's a bonsai set to the TS10. The chorus. Very comfortable and easy to play, I must admit. Here's the middle position. Position 2. And the bridge.
Oh, nice.
I mean, it's super easy to play. It's nicely set up. I think it feels like the satin neck is a welcome addition to this neck.
Controversial.
Because it's less slippery, and you can hear. This is what we did before. I was stroking the neck. Because they say this is a satin style neck, but that's also, I'm not sure, but it feels less lacquered than that one, right?
Look, my personal feeling on the American Silver Sky neck is it feels to me like a vintage lacquered Strat neck that's been played a lot.
Yes.
So not like
but this is
relics
less than
to
this
the
one.
point where it's, well, that might be because you've played that one more.
I don't think so.
But this is like completely
this is proper.
satin.
You can hear it. You can hear it.
So, so it'll have
again.
like a sealant of some sort on it, but with a very sort of natural wood finish.
The tint is different as well, isn't it?
So let's talk about.
Sorry, I'm just going to go on while I'm at that. It's not as rolled on the board as that one is, but maybe that's again if it's been played a bit. But feel
that's not played rolled. That's someone's.
And feel this as well. So this is.
Yeah,
because I know you're a rolled board man, aren't you? So it's less rolled.
These, I think, have just had built into the spec a sense of rolling the edges, whereas I don't think that one has.
How about the frets? Do we know anything about the frets?
Actually, we don't know about the frets.
They look slightly narrow on this one, if you look.
Well, if we're going to talk about frets and we don't really know, perhaps that'll appear on screen now. We'll do the research post-video.
Or maybe we won't. Maybe somebody will do it for us.
Now, radius fretboards.
Yes.
In the olden days, actually fairly, to be fair, right up until some point in the 80s, I think, Strat fingerboards were 7¼ inch radius.
7.25.
Now that means, again, imagine I had a circle that had a radius, i.e. from the center to the outside of 7¼ inches, and I cut out a piece of that circle to make my fretboard. That's the curve you get. So the higher the number of the radius, bigger the circle becomes, and then when you cut a chunk of it out, the flatter it becomes.
Yeah.
I don't know that there are many guitars that have completely flat radius fingerboards.
I've been a 16, which is...
Typically Gibson guitars would have like a 12-inch radius, so it'll feel a little flatter, even vintage guitars would. But Fenders have always had a little bit of a curve in them. Yeah. However, the normal radius that you would find on a Fender guitar from, the last 20 or 30 years is 9½ inch radius. So there was this sense that they moved, and that was because there was this period where if you sort of, as guitar players, as I think maybe the shredders were trying to get the action down and down and down and down, you couldn't have that sort of accentuated curve
the
on the
strings close
fretboard
enough.
without it sort of choking the strings out. So I kind of feel like 7¼ radius fretboards just got this reputation for sort of being bad and that 9.5 was better. And John Mayer, in fairness, kind of just went, he changed that perception, I think. He just sort of went, it's not bad, it's just different. And if you don't set your guitar up with like a, action, like a Shredder's style action,
You don't,
7¼ inch is actually still really comfortable to play.
It's fine.
So I guess one of the things that we haven't had the opportunity to speak to either Paul or John about is, so why is the fretboard on this 8.5 inch radius rather than 7¼ because they've clearly had to tool up. So it's not like they've just gone, oh, we'll just use the same neck off of, or the same tooling off
of
an
SE
SE custom. Because it's
they're 12,
unique.
Aren't they, as well, or are they 10 or 12? I'm not sure.
I think it's 12. But so they've obviously tooled up for a unique radius on this. And I wonder if it's just purely and simply trying to make this feel just a teeny bit more familiar, maybe, for
is it
the average guitar player.
Is it to accommodate people? I think that the perception of 7¼ is completely wrong. If the guitar's set up nicely, it won't choke out, and if you play it the right way, it's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, if you get a vintage Fender like a Vintera or something, they're 7. Even these, it's fine. If you put the right strings on, set it up properly.
I think personally for myself, I think Pete's absolutely spot on with that, and I don't personally even notice. Where I notice a slightly flatter fretboard is that jump from say 9.5 to 12 or 14. Certainly when you play an Ibanez, you are going,
it's 16. You can really feel it. It's mayonnaise 18, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, mayonnaise.
But I've got to be honest with you, because again, perhaps I don't like my guitars with like a crazy low action.
Yeah, it's not.
I don't think I've ever really gone, oh, I'm really noticing that difference. Anyway, look, it is what it is. It's slightly different.
So there's not much in it, I must admit. I mean, it feels good. It feels like maybe there's jumbo frets on here, where these feel slightly narrow.
Yeah.
Is that me, or maybe? I don't know.
So I think what we'll do is we'll do some tone comparisons. Maybe we'll try and compare the tremolo system. Just give you some sense of like,
that's a good idea.
How different is it? Because I kind of feel like this is probably going to be the biggest selling guitar of 2022, certainly in this price bracket, I think.
I think you're right.
There are so many John Mayer fans out there. There are so many people, I think, that are inspired by how he plays. There's loads of people that don't like him as well, and that's fine.
Oh, and there's loads of people that just looks for something else than a Fender.
Yeah, and this is going to go. This is going to go up against things like maybe Vintera or Player Plus or something like that. So it's a very, very competitive price point. Can I just say on this front as well? I was going to do this at the end of the video, but I'm going to say it now.
You said it in the beginning.
Don't be that person that buys 4 of these to just put them on eBay and make some money out of it. They're just ticket tout horrible people. Those they're taking advantage of other people. The SE Silver Sky is not limited edition. You might find over the first couple of months they're hard to get hold of, because I've spoken to PRS and they're starting off with slightly lower production, and then they'll ramp up over time. Yeah. So they are going to be difficult to get hold of at the start. But don't be that person that buys one to put on eBay. Don't be the person that then goes to eBay and pays 1,500 quid for one of these.
Just wait
They're coming, all right? They'll be coming. They won't, they will be much easier to get hold of after a few months. And what Andertons is going to do is we are going to, if we see people buying 2, 3, 4 of these guitars on our website at a time, we're just going to cancel those orders.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's like, it's just, please, I just want people who, actually want to own one of these to be the ones that get to buy them.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's that.
It's good, man. I'm really enjoying it. I mean, it's incredible. For $8.99?
$8.99. Yeah. So let's do some no talking, straightforward. One versus the other.
I mean, there's only one thing to do, isn't there?
There is.
there's definitely a little bit difference in the feel of how you, with the flatness of the board.
Really? I'm surprised that was the first thing that you would say.
Tone-wise,
Nice
they're
watch,
very
by the
close. Not a fanboy. So tones are very similar. I mean, this slightly clearer, maybe. What do you think?
I think that. But we're going to play a game in a minute, so stay tuned, like a blindfoldy type game. I think that to me sounds rounder and slightly fuller.
Yes, it's a clearer tone.
But I so know in the past that it's so psychosomatic that when you know one guitar's dearer than another, then sometimes it plays tricks on you. So that's why we're going to play a little blindfoldy kind of game in a minute.
It does feel slightly fatter, the neck as well. Maybe more that way than this way.
Well, what did we say? We said that the width at the nut on the American version is like 100th of an inch fatter. So I mean, we're talking like, you know.
But you can feel that. But you can feel if you take your fingertips and you move them over your hairs on your arms or wherever you have hair, you know.
But that's only
you can
here.
feel it. You can feel it in your.
By the time you get to here, it's the same. So presumably, by the time you're halfway up, you're talking like 1,000th of an inch.
Maybe it's a psychosomatic thing.
Yeah, I think it's just the fact that it's. I think it's things like it's the difference in the rolled edges and the difference in the satin fingerboard make those minuscule.
Yeah, I like the satin board. It makes you play it a different way.
Can we play a game now? So
we didn't do gain.
Well,
we didn't do gain
we'll do that at the end. Okay. I think so. Pete's going to play the guitar now, and I'm gonna literally look over here. I'm going to put my special sunglasses on that stop me seeing and do this, and we're going to blur the screen as well so that you can't see which guitar Pete's got. Somehow. In fact, we'll have to do a cut now so that basically Pete can scramble up which guitar he's going to play.
Yeah.
And then play, you know, a few different settings or whatever on each guitar, and then we've got to guess. Okay. And you're guessing with me.
All good. So here's the first one. Shall I play that classic? Okay, so that was the first one. Here comes the second one. So that was the second one. You want a bit of drive on?
Just play around with a few more settings and like a bit longer on each one. Honestly, like within half a second of you playing the second guitar, my brain said, that's the American one. And then after half a second, my brain started going, is it? Maybe, not sure, can't really tell anymore. So at the moment, that very, very initial sense is my only...
So you were saying that the first one
was the SE.
Was the SE and the second one was the American one.
But you know, I had literally like my brain. You didn't even play like half a second of the first note. My brain went, "That's it," and then after that, all the doubts kind of crept in.
Let's go.
What do you guys think on screen? Because of course you can't see.
No, right? You can't see. So now I'm going back to the other one.
This is the first guitar again.
It's the first guitar.
So yeah, play a few. Maybe just do some gainy sounds and just noodle around for a bit.
Right, here we go. Okay. Second one.
Okay. If you're watching, what did you think? Comment away, decide now before... I think, personally, Pete, that the second one was the American one. But if I'm honest with you, I think I actually preferred the first one with the distortion sounds on it. So...
Okay. So you can look now, and this is the second one. So you were wrong.
Within half a second of you playing the second guitar, my brain said, that's the American one. And then after half a second, my brain started going, is it? Maybe. Well, there you go. And didn't I say, like, as soon as you can't see, so they're so close, aren't they?
I think when you're saying that distortion is on there, you can hear, Ben, and when we do Ben, our acoustic guy, when we do these videos, we talk about the headroom, or what is it called? The
dynamic range.
Dynamic range of the guitar. And there is definitely that. But you are paying double, so you would expect... More than double, so you would expect that there is something. And there is. But this is really nice to play. I mean, if you got 900 quid to spend on a guitar, and you don't want a Fender Strat, but you want something with three, that's just similar, you can't go wrong with this. This is nice.
I mean, I know
you should play a bit, man. You should play a bit.
Just Trem system? Is there
Trem system.
Is there a discernible kind of... Because he doesn't really have a...
No, there's four.
He doesn't really do the floating Trem system, does he? It's it's just a... So there shouldn't be a massive difference between the two.
Yeah, it's got that. You have to.
You can only push downwards,
you have to work on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to work on it. So you try that. We saw the strap.
These are all the same, aren't they? I think.
No, these are
not quite.
Not quite. These
not quite. Yeah. But they're that similar, sort of wider.
Yeah. So here we go. Let's see. It feels the same to do, because it's sort of flush to the body, and you got four springs in there. There's four in that as well.
One, yeah.
Means that you have to kind of give it some to do that. Whether this gives a different, let's try this. Still going.
It's still there after 15 seconds.
I should have timed it on my watch. Okay, so here we go.
Same.
Maybe a little less. It feels like it's slightly more bright on the initial attack on the neck pickup. But man, that could be strings, and we change strings and that. And
do you know what? Okay, so look, that's the end of the video, right, guys?
Yeah. I don't think there's anything else.
Again, like I said before, if you're watching this in January, maybe even into February, these are going to be sold out everywhere. But as I said, there are plenty more coming. This is not a limited edition guitar.
No.
So just jump in the queue and wait. Don't go and waste another, don't go and pay £400 or £500 extra for it on eBay just because you can't be bothered to wait.
Just go on the waiting list.
What can I say?
It's great, man. It's so good that actually that they've done it. That John has gone, yes, it's fine. And it's not just been, no, you can only get this. Because so many more guitar players can get in on the action, and so many more of his fans or people who want to play like him can now easily afford it, and that's great.
If you ever see a video of Paul Reed Smith talking about the SE range of guitars, he never talks about them as, cheap guitars.
No,
he talks about them in the same way he talks about the American stuff.
Yeah.
He talks about them in they have to be ready for a professional guitar player to go and do a gig with.
You can easily.
And I kind of feel like, I know it sounds mad, but it's, in my, I still want the American one. I think, but it will absolutely boil down to, what do you want to say you've got? Do you want to say you've got the SE one, or do you want to say you've got the American one? because it's kind of nuts, really.
And you just do that, basically.
Yeah, could you sand the little SE bit off? So look, let's finish. Let's jam out.
Oh yeah, that's the only thing that's different, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's, you got...
Yeah, anyway, whatever.
I should also say as well, for those that don't know the story, okay, this is not a stock colour.
No.
This was a gift from me to Pete a long time ago, well, a while ago, and I had it done in a custom purple finish.
Purple rain.
Nothing to do with PRS.
No, but maybe.
Yeah, absolutely, that would be cool. So,
Wouldn't that be cool?
Congratulations to the team at Paul Reed Smith, and particularly a guy called Jack Higginbottom, who I know was closely involved with this model at PRS, and obviously congratulations to John. It's another, you continue to, write great music and inspire people to pick up the guitar. Not everybody. I appreciate before I get shot down in the comments section. I know it. There's some of you out there that don't like John Mayer. It's fine. But yeah, you certainly inspire me and Pete to want to play the guitar.
Absolutely. And this is great. Guitar. It's a great guitar.
Yeah, fair play.
Great guitar.
Fair
Absolutely.
play.
Well done.
So
we do the gain at the end, and then
absolutely. Or jam out at the end, and then we'll swap the guitars. We'll literally just go.
Let's do that. Okay.